My team of the week is the biggest riser of the week as well. It's the Jacksonville Jaguars.
There we go. Let's go.
I threw them up my rankings. I had to. The Jacksonville Jaguars are balling out. And honestly, I think obviously one of the coolest things about it is that Trevor Lawrence is looking good. And everyone has talked about, can Trevor Lawrence find it? He's this generational quarterback going from, he was compared to Andrew Luck coming out. He's looking the part. Last week, they were 22nd on my power rankings. I've vaulted them all the way up to number 13. Only Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa have a higher clean pocket EPA per dropback. So essentially, when he's kept clean, he is maximizing his pockets. And he doesn't have Jalen Waddle. He doesn't have A.J. Brown, right? He doesn't have Tyreek Hill. Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence are putting on an absolute masterclass offensively, maximizing the talents of Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, Evan Ingram, Marvin Jones. This offensive line isn't even good. I am so impressed with what Trevor Lawrence has done and how he's ascended, I think, inside the top 10 among quarterbacks in the league, and also what Doug Peterson has done. I knew it would be an improvement, right? I knew it would be an improvement over Urban Meyer and the disaster that was last year, but did not expect them to so quickly have this kind of success. They're beating good football teams and beating them bad. Beating them bad. Chargers this past week, they beat them 38-10. I know Herbert was hurt. I know they're under injuries, but man, this Jacksonville Jaguars team, that's my team of the week. They are looking fantastic.
No, they're looking really good, and shout out to good coaching or some kind of coaching, and the difference that makes. We knew last year that Trevor Lawrence was in the fight for his life, not only with the roster that was bereft of talent, but also the Urban Meyer experience. But I will say this, because you mentioned one of those names, Christian Kirk, a guy who was out there free agency-wise, a lot of teams who wanted to kick the tires on that wide receiver position, like the Chicago Bears, some other teams were interested. But I was looking at Josh Allen and the growth of Josh Allen. Stephon Diggs made a huge difference. The moment Stephon Diggs showed up, all of a sudden, you could put the ball places that you couldn't put it before, and the run after the catch. And of course, Stephon Diggs is one of the best route runners in the game. He's one of the best wide receivers in the game. So I'm not comparing Christian Kirk to Stephon Diggs. I'm just saying, look what happens when you throw another guy into the mix, right? And Zay Jones, obviously the talent is there, but you got to put it together consistently. Trevor Lawrence is looking like the dude who everyone thought he would be in the NFL his freshman year in college. So it's good to see a quarterback kind of start to reach those markers, and obviously this season, I mean, like you mentioned, they've beaten some good teams. They've gone up against some pretty damn good defenses with star power on the other end. What they did to the Chargers, I didn't see coming. I didn't know that Justin Herbert would be as limited as he was, but at the same time, you still got Khalil Mack and Derwin James. You got all pros at every level of a defense that he just shredded. So if you're not on the Trevor Lawrence train, these last 2 games or so should definitely have you looking at the conductor trying to get yourself a transfer.
The last point I'd make on Trevor Lawrence in the offense, and I want to talk about the defense, because Trevor Lawrence gets all love. I know he's got the long hair. He's the pretty boy, but this defense is also playing well. Trevor Lawrence, I think, is entering that tier, and you brought this up last week. He's entering that tier of elevator, right? And I brought up some names, Zay Jones, Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, a bad offensive line. He is maximizing those talents. And I honestly think, taking those talents further, right? Christian Kirk looks better in this offense than he ever did with Cliff Kingsbury and the Arizona Cardinals. Zay Jones, resurgent career. Evan Ingram, who was a castaway with the Giants, is also making plays for this offense. I think a lot of that is Doug Peterson. This coaching staff is making plays, but a lot of that too is this new elevator, this new era of young quarterback Trevor Lawrence. Defensively, real quick, rookie Devin Lloyd, linebacker from the Jacksonville Jaguars, is absolutely balling out. Multiple tackles in this game, also had an interception. And the defensive line, I know Rashawn Slater left the game with a biceps injury. He's now going to miss the season. Storm Norton and Trey Pipkins, my goodness, could not block a soul. Josh Allen was fantastic in this one. They didn't even have Shaq Griffin, their starting corner, opposite of Tyson Campbell. So you had Tyson Campbell and Darius Williams playing outside corner, and they still looked phenomenal in this game. I think defensively, offensively, this Jacksonville Jaguars team has it, and you can still bet them, I think, plus 250 to win the AFC South. This is the best team in the AFC South. I'm sorry.
Here we go.
This is the best team in the AFC South. I'm taking him over at Matt Ryan. I'm taking over the Titans. I know the Titans just won against the hapless Las Vegas Raiders, but man, I think the Jags, best team in the AFC South.
I mean, like you mentioned, not just Devin Lloyd, but, you got Trayvon Walker, who everybody saw do damage on the collegiate level. You come out and you get the first pick in the draft. And also, they've been able to pick and pluck a few guys that are no-name guys maybe to the casual NFL fan, but guys who have been developing. Hell, I watched Roy Robertson Harris here in Chicago turn from a dude who really didn't have a position to a guy you could put in some spot jams and not be such a fall-off. He's their starting defensive end now. So, yeah, the Jaguars got something brewing. And I don't think it's too far out on the limb to say that they will be at the top of the AFC side. I can't see Vrabel and the Titans falling that far or falling to a point where they're out here at around 9-8, 10-7. I think they still got 11 to 10 wins in them. I don't know if the Jaguars have 10 wins in them, but hey, listen, if Trevor Lawrence is playing like this, then the sky's the limit, because we've seen young quarterbacks raise the level of a team that doesn't know that it's not good yet, right? So, and especially in the AFC, right? So it's going to be interesting to see not just how he matures, but how that defense with all those young players who are asked to do a lot, right? Like this team is primed for some big things here in the next couple of years.
And I think I think the biggest area they're going to have to, get better at in a hurry is winning close games, right? Because the last two games have been blowouts, and when you are executing like they were and have Trevor Lawrence, covering a lot of these sins and stuff like that. Close games is where rebuilding teams usually learn a lot. The Chargers have been learning in close games for as long as I can remember. Like this Jaguars team, if they can start to come out of these one-score games, that will happen against good football teams. They are going to be the team, I think, that wins the AFC South.